would desire of an objective, of an outcome, of its evolution, it would so happen over a period of thousands of years. So one analogy for that would be, there was only ocean life. And while the fishes were, swarmed ashore, and the fishes were struggling to live, and they desired to fly, and eventually we had life in the sky.
Brilliant, Mickey. Too many things which have gone high funda. I will decipher into smaller pieces. But as you said, the evolution which has happened and the genes which will carry on the trait. The beautiful book, the selfish gene, which was a beautiful book. And what you're saying, how we'll pass on the genes to our future generations, how we think and what we do.
But Himanshu, there is an idiosyncrasy about our genetic behavior.
Right.
So the epigenetic science says that only 95% of your genes are 95% of your genes are indeterministic. Only 5% are deterministic. So don't allow the 5% to create a havoc in your body. You use the 95% genes to shape your life the way you want to shape it. There is a new hypothesis on something called, I'll tell you. Okay, let that word come to my mind. You continue.
But Mickey, how can you segregate? You said 95% and 5%. How will I know that what is 5% and what is 95%?
No, you don't have to know. You don't have to segregate. See, the biggest problem of mankind is he wants to divide. He wants to compartmentalize. He wants to fragment everything. So he wants to do everything through analysis, breaking down. But yogi does everything through synthesis.
Great.
So, Mickey, can you just enlighten us that in this present pandemic of COVID, I think you must be also in your house.
Yeah.
And so would the other yogis and rishis and Baba Ramdev and everybody. So the spiritualism and the things that you are talking, how does it make you different from us, and what do you need to tell us, common ophthalmologist, as to what we need to do to kind of keep our spirits high, and what is it that actual in practical terms, that what are you doing different than what we are doing different, or what would anybody else who is able to control his 95% of how are you different from us in overcoming this pandemic?
So, brother, the biggest problem, one more problem of human beings, they want to control everything. They want to see, being in charge is not being in control necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Being in charge is being alert. But humans want to control everything, and control means aggression. Now, wherever there's a control, which means you're controlling the other. So you're already divided.
Okay.
So being in charge of your own wholesome self is watching yourself with drashtabha. And if you're simply watching yourself and this whole universe as one with love, the scenery which is going on is a wonderful movie happening just before you. And it is so beautiful. So let me tell you, Modi ji has certainly locked our door outside.
Mm-hmm.
But Modi ji has not locked anything within you. That is all open. A very good poem of Rumi comes to my mind, that we've been living on the lips of insanity, knocking at the door opens, I've been knocking from inside. So the entry to the door within, where there is infinity and eternity, is just a blink of an eyelid away. So typically, now let me explain to you in layman terms. We have 5 senses, which you can call 5 horses. Now 5 horses are always taking you in 5 different directions. The eye wants to dominate, thanks to ophthalmology. The eye wants to dominate because the maximum perception comes out of the eye, and we create and make a lot of sense of things through the eyes. Then, of course, number 2, taste wants to dominate. Then your olfactory senses want to dominate. Then visual, your audio wants to dominate, and then your tactile wants to dominate. Now, when your 5 horses want to take you in different directions, when you shut your eyes and sit quietly, your 5 horses in different dimensions will stay where they are. They will come together. They will face one direction, and then probably the common sense factor will begin to emerge. Now, this common sense factor is because you've internalized the senses now. You cut out the external perceptions and what we call in Ashtanga Yoga, Pratyahara. So Ashtanga of yoga are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. Then Pratyahara, internalization of senses. Dhyan, putting attention in the field. Dharana, putting intention and transforming it. And Samadhi, evolving. Now these can transform. In Ayurveda it is said, Rasa, Rakta, Masha, Meda, Asti, Maja, Shukra. So your rasayans, your biochemistry. Rakta, your blood. Masha, Meda, Asti. So right from your adipose tissue, your muscles, your nerves, your bones, your cells. And this in turn builds characters and personalities. So Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Maya, Matsara. Pride, anger, lust, envy, gluttony, avarice, sloth. So yoga, Ayurveda, meditation, they all build characters and personalities. They all give you supreme immunity. Now you are saying that how a layman should simplify things. First thing in the morning, wake up, go to the windows, absorb a lot of sun, eat sunlight for breakfast, eat breath for breakfast, breathe deep, imbibe the virtues of the cosmos. So when you breathe well, when you take the right light, you think well. Sattva gun happens. So Sattva gun comes out of bhojan, paustik, shakahari bhojan only. Sattva gun. After which Sattva gun comes out of the virtues of elements. So Akasha, Agni, Prithvi, Jal, Vayu. So then you mingle with the elements. Then of course you do yoga. Now yoga means that which joins you. That is yoga. And A means asana, the seat of consciousness, the seat of awareness. Whichever asana you're doing. Let's say you are doing a dhanurasana. You are resting on a pinpoint circumference of the earth. From core to outwards, you're holding your body like a bow. Your lower is stretched and your upper is in full contraction. This is a perfect yin-yang corresponding with each other. Left and your right side of the brains are connected. Microtubulars which join the left and right side, they become active and the quantum fluctuation happens there. So your perception becomes heightened. Now, let me show you the attributes. So when you hold a posture, so you become aware of your body parts which are struggling to be held and struggling to be alive and struggling to be in one position. So balance, coordination. Then tolerance. Then patience, dhairya. Then agility. As your body opens up, the convolutions of your mind opens up. And after that, most importantly, there are 4 pillars of wellness. Conserve your breath, preserve your body. Conserve your breath, preserve your body. Unit rhythm to get synchronized with the unity rhythm, universal rhythm. So our circadian rhythm gets synchronized with sunrise, sunset, moon phases, tides, low tide, high tide, because they influence us. We are in that orbit. A human being corresponds with that. So conserve your breath, preserve your body, rhythm of your heart, and then flow of your being. Your flow of your being in conjunction with the flow of the cosmos. राधा बन के जो बाहर निकलेगी, वो धारा बन के फिर से अंदर आएगी. So that's the science of the flow of unison, oneness. And in this flow comes sympathy, empathy, philanthropy, compassion. Now let's look at the other attributes. That yoga, since it gives you patience, since it gives you tolerance, tenacity, agility, it translates into building personalities and characters. Evolution of mankind, forget weight loss, forget six packs. So from confusion, it brings clarity. From a foggy vision, it gives you a clear vision. From lethargy, it makes you creative. From lethargy and anxiety, it makes you productive. It makes you benevolent. And you keep rising higher on the ladder of evolution. And only a man can rise higher than gods and fall below animals because he has consciousness. And we are all gods in seed form. We can rise on the ladder of evolution, or if we abide by only instincts, we will fall down and go below the animal kingdom. Let consciousness prevail over instincts. So begin with breathing, sunshine, yoga asanas. You will be taking steps up the ladder, looking at higher horizons, wider horizons, deeper perceptions, and very complete perspectives.
So there is Dr. Kinshuk Marwa who says, you saying we go up the ladder. He says, I struggle to do yoga, but my 5 horses take me somewhere else. So how do I sync with yoga from a beginner's point of view? That's my question also. Like we are not into all this. So how do you make us get into controlling our 5 different senses, pulling us different directions?
The word control has to be dropped. Watch your senses. When you sit in dhyan, all you do is, there is something touching you, there is something you can smell, there is something you can internalize, there is something you can hear, there is some taste of your saliva. Begin to be aware of all these senses. Simply be aware and watch them. As you are aware, the geometry, the sacred geometry between the senses will begin to blur. And it will become a composite sense of awareness. You know, why the West has spoken about mindfulness. It's nothing but empty the mind of the junk and fill it up with the light of awareness, what I'm talking about.
But when you start to meditate or think about a particular thing, there are 100 other things, which come to your mind, and you can't concentrate on.
Don't try to concentrate. Don't try to concentrate.
On meditation, you concentrate.
See, meditation is not doing anything. It is being. Shut your eyes. Cut off your senses. And allow thoughts to come, thoughts to go. You're going to a party. You know 20 people. And if you engage eye to eye with 20 people, all of them will come to talk to you and they will latch on. So if you latch on to your thought, they will latch on to you. Watch them and let them go. Don't connect with them. And simply breathe in and simply breathe out. So this is the drill.
But fantastic, Mickey. The other thing, the biggest thing that we have is diet today. Everybody is looking, you are what you eat, and you are what you think. You told us we are what we think, but what we eat, the various kinds of fads on diet, the keto diet, the gluten diet, the gluten-free diet, and you have the vegan diet. So let's talk a little on the mind-gut relationship and what kind of diet works right now.
So vegan is for American Regan, keto ko pito, और vegetarianism से जीतो, शाकाहारी से जीतो.
You are a Parsi, you are a hardcore non-vegetarian, but you are a vegetarian now?
I'm a hardcore vegetarian. So Cornell, Harvard, Stanford, none of these medical schools have ever published any paper on meat eating as being healing or good to health. First of all, the biggest misconception about the word health is not medicine. So health, actually, forgive me, should not be used by medical practitioners because medicines don't give you health. Health is a healing process. So medicines cure, nature heals. If your hand breaks, an orthopedic surgeon will align it, but the fusion will happen as a natural process. Okay, so let us understand that health is healing. Health is organic unity. Now, vegetarianism, typically, so vegetables cleanse you, purify you. Fruits heal you. Nuts, seeds, roots, sprouts, herbs fortify you.
Lovely. Lovely. And what is this prebiotic and postbiotic, the things which are on probiotic, prebiotic?
So in the last 10 years, modern science has discovered that there are millions and millions of microbiomes and microbiota more than your cells. So which control the flora of your gut. So every such food which increases the good bacteria in your body, is what you call in scientific parlance. But in simple parlance, if we were to say, that which grows on a tree if consumed in its most raw state, अपने अच्छी गाय का जिसकी सेवा होती है, जिसकी वर्शिप होती है, उसका दूध पिए, छाछ पिए, घी पिए, then कच्ची घानी का coconut oil, sesame oil, if we consume. So all these things give rise to positive bacteria and a positive flora of the body, and they in turn increase the immunity of the body as well. Improve your digestion, assimilation, everything.
So ghee is good. You are saying that pure ghee, deshi ghee.
अरे
Everybody.
भाई घी हो तो देसी घी का हो, वरना ना हो, देसी गाय का हो. जैसे मूछे हो तो नथु लाल जैसी हो, वरना ना हो.
And what about the role of growth hormone and testosterone which people take after the age of 40? I'm not talking of the steroids which the other guys for six packs they do that.
No. So human growth hormone, HGH. So human growth hormone could be avoided if your activity is superior and supreme, and to counter that you give good food as fuel, because a calibrated challenge activity increases the demand for nourishment, and once nourishment goes in, it increases your capacity to absorb. Just taking growth hormones will not give you any magic in the night. So don't get very euphoric about it.
Correct. No, this is the latest mantra given in all these gyms, which is why I'm asking you. You're also a very, very pro at equipment-free training. And today you have all the gyms working out big, heavy muscles, heavy weights being picked up and all the kind of stuff which is being done. So describe a little about functional training and equipment-free training minus going to the gym.
Yeah, the answer is in the question, functional.
That's
Make
right.
your body superior functions. Coordination, balance, psycho-neuromuscular coordination. Now, these three coordination only happens in yoga and close by in functional training. Yoga is the only scientific workout which can squeeze your organs and let out the bad blood and stretch again and let in the good blood, oxygen laden and nutrient laden. So cellular regeneration is primary, fundamentally very high with yoga. So also, most importantly, what happens is that when you do any kind of functional training or yoga, where dimensions, spatial senses, gravity, acceleration, deceleration, all these forces are working on you, your left and your right brain neurons fire 100 times more and coordinated. Your breath, you start breathing with both the nostrils. Something called neurobics happens. Neurobics. Okay, learning, adaptation, learning of the new memory of activity. So functional training increases your balance quotient, increases your coordination quotient, and increases your focus quotient and keeps you younger. So neuroplasticity happens there. Your telomeres and telomerase length increases there. So youthfulness comes with functional training. So this is what I pioneered with in India.
Are you trying to say you can avoid Alzheimer's with this? You can
100%,
delay?
100%.
Because you say talk of telomerase.
See, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all these diseases are nothing but deteriorating immunity. So if your immunity is firing on 3 cylinders and the first 2 cylinders are completely rusted, the last defense mechanism cylinders, which are called cytokines, they go haywire. So they attack everything in sight, good, bad, ugly. It is like a lone soldier seeing his side completely getting defeated, goes out blindly and starts chopping everybody. And he would chop himself and is of his own kind as well.
Mickey, there is obviously, if I ask you a question, you will reply in the affirmative. Obviously, between health and sleep, there is a deep relationship, right?
100%.
And in today's world, a lot of people have insomnia, or they're not able to break away from their thoughts, and they don't have restful sleep, etc. So first question is, how deep is the relationship between a healthy mind and a body and sleep? And how do you overcome the problem of not being able to go to sleep or have a restful sleep?
So in our Sanatan Dharma Vedic Shastra, this deep sleep is defined as Shushupti ki Nind. Shushupti Nidra.
Okay.
Huh? Now, Shushupti ki Nidra is healing in nature. So health and sleep, they correspond. You are healing in your sleep, and sleep heals you. Okay? Now, what happens is typically that early dinner, vegetarian dinner, small quantity dinner, a great laughter before dinner, early sleeping, dimming your lights much before you sleep, and sleeping alone. Don't take your boss to bed. Don't take your wife to bed. No, I'm talking about reality.
This is the best thing for all the married people.
No. In the sense, breathe out your boss, breathe out your wife, breathe out your in-laws. That is what I mean to say. So breathe out your last moment, breathe out your day, breathe out your days, weeks, months, years, lives, and then sleep like a baby and wake up like a daisy. That sleep will heal you, and heal you in a way that your energy reservoirs will be completely filled, your organs would have repaired, there will be no lag in replacements of cells. So a cell dies and a cell replaces simultaneously. So we don't grow old. When we stop growing, we become old. So lack of sleep obstructs your growth. Lack of activity disrupts your growth. Sleep will give you release of good, adequate growth hormones in the night. And morning exercise will give you growth hormones. A good massage will give you growth hormones. Nose drops, Nasyam in Ayurveda gives you good growth hormones. Shirodhara, triggering your pituitary and your Agyan Chakra, pineal gland will give you great growth hormone support system. Okay, stroking on your occipital cavity and your back of the brain being stimulated will once again translate into growth hormone story. And also secretion of all other happy hormones, feel good hormones, energy hormones. So right from serotonin to oxytocin to dopamine, endorphins all release, and you are in the heightened state. So we should not die to disease. We should simply pass away, transmigrate, transform, reform. We should let go of life when we want to let go. We should be the masters.
How many hours of sleep? Sorry, go ahead, Rajesh.
Mickey, you've been talking about breathing. I mean, I think a number of times you have talked about breathe. So we all breathe, actually, But what's the best way of breathing so that, you can reverse your disease, you can reverse your life, you can reverse, so many things you have told about breathing.
Okay. So let me tell you, what is primary to life? Breath. Yeah. Correct? Now, life to perpetuate needs to be regulated.
Yeah.
To regulate life, you should regulate breath. So regulate breath is in and out. Now, in and out, there has to be a rhythm. And this rhythm orchestrates the physiology, biology, psychology, endocrinology. So I'm giving you a rationale of a layman's term, although you guys are doctors. So regulated breath of deep breath in. This, if everybody does 3 to 4 times a day, 20 to 30 times each time, slowly, very slowly, all your orchestration will fall in rhythm. Especially those who will do it before sleeping will never get heart failure in the night, guaranteed. Because there is memory of breath. The body will not forget to breathe, heart will not cease, because lungs will continue to breathe and heart will continue to breathe. Your seizure of the heart happens as a matter of not good oxygen and good circulation reaching it. So the memory of good breath, regulated breath, will not allow a seizure, especially when you're not conscious. Yes, an external stimulus, extraneous stimulus can probably, if you're weak, if your pericardium fluids are not well functioning. But if you are bright, no disease can ever touch you. We are breathing in the cancer germs, we are breathing in COVID germs, all of us. 60% of India probably will test positive, will Mantox test, the chest TB test. Okay? But there will be very few whose lungs will be breathing powerful, all 5 chambers getting empty and refilled almost every moment. And lungs are completely young. And fresh oxygen improves alertness. So what is it? It switches you on. When you switched on, you become positive. You're switched on, you're positive. Positivity, creativity. Creativity, productivity. Productivity, evolution, growth. So we never grow old. When we stop growing, we become old. So breath is the single most. अरे ऐसे ही थोड़ी ना बाबा रामदेव ने आंख मार मार के सबको सांस लेना सिखा दिया.
What is the best time to do yoga? Yeah, Vicky, is it in the morning
देखिए
or
भाई,
during?
एक ही बेस्ट टाइम पे रुक जाना. बेस्ट टाइम टू डू योगा ही बताता हूँ और बेस्ट टाइम मत पूछना कौन से Okay, so let me tell you that because of the circadian rhythm being synchronized with the universal unity rhythm, our energies rise with the sunrise. When light from any angle comes and touches the largest organ of our body, skin, serotonin begins to secrete in your pineal gland and melatonin gets inhibited, stopped gradually. Now this, if you were to see the nature cycle, in Brahma Muhurat, even before the first ray of the sun is about to come out, the trees and the birds sense it. The trees begin to emanate oxygen and the birds begin to chirp. And if a human is awake in that moment, he will be awake 100%. If only 10% of human brain makes you an Einstein, okay, makes you a Stephen Hawkins. Can you imagine if we were to grow our brain? My only objective is to expand my brain awareness to 100% and disappear and reappear and transform and reform and change everything with my hands and just with my intent. You put energy into the field, attention into the field, energize it. You put intention into the field, you transform it. This is the principle and the power of intention as per modern physics.
So, Dr. Mickey, there is a question for you. On one hand, you are saying, for example, non-vegetarianism, vegetarianism, you talked about it. But if you look at the Japanese people who eat a lot of seafood, I think if you look at their blood chemistry and everything like that, you look at their skin texture, their longevity of life, etc. I think they live much longer than anybody else on this planet. So they are largely non-vegetarian, and they can and if you look at the Chinese from that side, they can eat anything that moves, right? So that is one part. And when you're looking at vegetarianism, you talked about Jains, etc. So at that particular point, there are people who in vegetarianism say that they do not want to eat anything that grows below the soil. While on the contrary, there are a lot of Ayurvedic preparations and all the preparations even overseas, which talks about ginger, garlic, onion, etc., the beneficial advantages. So everyone has their own theories regarding the type of food, and it's kind of confusing. Everyone has evidence one way or the other to say that this is good and this is not.
So let us first go to Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay. So Japanese, the control measures in their Food, Drug and Administration, especially food, is of such a high standard that the quality of meat, fish would be so supremely clean and nice, and they don't eat like animals. That's number one. I am not addressing the point of longevity.
Okay.
I am addressing the point of clean longevity. And I'm addressing the point of spiritual evolution and transcendence along with longevity. This is where the Japanese are different from Indians. Now let me come to Jains versus vegetarians. So Jains, as per philosophy, not per force, as per philosophy, voluntarily, wherever there is a possibility of a life force and microbes, they don't want to consume and destroy it. They don't want to destroy the fauna of the earth. They don't want to kill ahimsa. non-violent way of living. Your life should not be supported by some other life.
Okay.
But yes, Ayurveda, if you ask Lord Dhanvantari, tell me what all can be used for healing, Dhanvantari will say, tell me what not can be used for healing. Okay, so that is Ayurveda for you. I'll expand on Ayurveda for you later. Now,
what are the kinds of yoga for various ages, age group? You know, you're now having the age group between 45 to 60 right now watching you.
So the kind of yoga is saral, simple yoga. Saral, sahaj yoga. Very slow, very simple, and not crossing the threshold. Allowing the threshold to be dissolved automatically week after week, gradually. Listening to the body's inner intelligence and moving accordingly slowly. No gun on the head of time frames. This is not running a corporation. This is not the MBS calculating profits. Okay? This is not HR assessing human resource and going mad with all the calculations. Now, drop all, don't be an accountant with your body. Don't count calories. Don't count grammage. Don't count repetitions. Don't count your weight. Don't count your steps. Don't count your rapid eye movement sleep. Go with biofeedback intelligence and allow your body's intelligence to express itself freely without your conscious mind interfering in the process of spontaneity. So you cooperate in yourself wanting to become a lotus. A potter simply holds the pot from outside and just shapes it. He never gives a shape to it. He simply allows it. So the unique genetic expression of each being, if allowed, will express to the fullest potential and be the next God.
You know, there are a lot of spiritual people here. So how about alcohol?
Let them come.
What about alcohol? You know, a lot of people have this question on alcohol.
Okay. So alcohol of a very superfine quality. So primarily, wines are the most best to consume. Alcohol with fizz, carbonated, no. Wines are the best, carbonated, no. But I mean, small quantities don't make a harm, but I'm just saying that what is more preferable? Fine wines, okay? Very fine whiskeys, very fine, probably rums and fine qualities of gin, vodkas. But, there is a rider. If you become a slave to alcohol and it takes over, you are an animal. If you take alcohol and enjoy it growing in you and you being in charge, okay, it growing in you, fulfilling you and you still being in charge and not taking a sip more than you know that you don't need and enjoying in that trance and still being in charge in absolute alertness, no faculties compromised, then that alcohol consumption will make you creative. It will heal you. In many medicines in Ayurveda, there is alcohol given or alcohol is released. Why? Because alcohol calms your central nervous system, autonomous nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. It doesn't allow your mind and your body to interfere in the healing mechanism of the Ayurveda medicine. And it soothes you and calms you and heals you.
So what is the role of psychedelic drugs or the psilocybin mushroom?
Okay. So if it is organic 100%, like ayahuasca tea of Africa, everything goes bit by bit, slowly. Take the consumption, upgrade the consumption gradually, and use this to upgrade your faculties. Lord Shiva had charas, ganja.
That's what I'm saying. So that's exactly.
So you be the master to upgrade your faculties. Use the nature, don't abuse it, and don't get abused.
So you mean US has done well to, and parts of Canada well to legalize cannabis?
The thing is that the form, the kind of cannabis which they sell,
Okay.
I don't know how it is processed.
Mhm.
Is it classic? Is it an extract?
Okay.
Is it composite? Or is it completely derailed? Which means they have so many things. We really don't know what pharma does.
Okay.
The most mysterious industry of this on this earth is pharma.
Mhm.
I mean, you are my pharma brothers, but
We are
you
not
all know
farmers.
it. But what I'm saying is, but making it available to all and sundry is like giving a astara in a bandar's हाथ. वो अपनी भी धारी निकालेगा, दूसरी की भी निकाले, अपने पे भी काटेगा, दूसरे को भी काटेगा. So
Okay,
you
one
really
question
don't know
again.
where this goes.
One question again on food, and Dr. Kinshuk is asking, what should be the first meal or first intake after getting up? Honey, lime, or tea, or garlic pearls, and the reason behind it. Do you have any specific
So-
mantras for what kind of food should
So
be your?
Ayurveda says that oleation of your guts, which today, after 5,000, 10,000 years, they are selling clarified coffee with clarified butter shots. Even
Okay.
oleation of the guts, modern science is recognizing microbiomes, microbiota. But certainly shouldn't be taken in the coffee because coffee expedites the movement in the guts. So it will not be well assimilated. So modern science and विदेशी लोग पागल तो पागल रहेंगे. So taking it in its purest form, एक चम्मच ले लो पहले, and उसके बाद शायद च्यवनप्राश लो या च्यवनप्राश लो जिसमें घी हो. And then herbal teas. या herbal tea में slip in your ghee. हाँ,
Okay.
अच्छा वो सब पीने के बाद पेट साफ हुआ तो शहद लेना, बिकॉज शहद इज अ टॉनिक. तब शहद लेना और इसके 15-20 मिनट के बाद वर्कआउट योग करना. हाँ, एंड वर्कआउट के बाद the best breakfast could be fruits in the morning. Trust me, fruits, nuts. If it is winter, then dry fruits. If it is winter, then dry fruits and nuts combination with herbal teas. If it is summer, fruits and herbal teas. You know, let your hunger prime in the afternoon. Don't eat like an animal. Don't work out like an animal. Your workout should never be a punishment. Your eating should not be gluttony.
Okay. But इसमें गरीब आदमी के लिए क्या solution है? See, eating fruits and dry fruits, लोगों को दाल रोटी नसीब नहीं होती हिंदुस्तान में, तो वो nuts और dry fruit कहाँ से खाएंगे?
You will be surprised कि गांव खेड़ों में जमरुक, गुआवा सस्ता है. अगर यहाँ के महाराष्ट्र बेल्ट में जाओ तो चीकू बहुत सस्ता है. केले तो सस्ते हैं ही. सफेद कांदे आते हैं वो सस्ते हैं. और ऐसी कितनी फ्रूट शॉप इतनी सस्ती मिलती है. उन लोग मटन चिकन खाते हैं ज्यादा पैसा देके. फ्रूट मटन चिकन से सस्ती है भाई.
Groundnuts, peanuts.
हाँ, पीनट्स आपको बना देगी गोरिल्ला जैसा भाई, मजबूत एकदम.
Chana.
वाइग्रा की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी आपको.
Interesting. Now you're coming some interesting parts.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Himanshu, you got interested suddenly.
फोड़ी नाक तबला, फोड़ी नाक पेटी.
What is this epigenetics that you love talking about?
Okay, so epigenetic and trans-epigenetical research is a modern discovery, modern science to say that they've discovered that 95% of our genes are indeterministic, so they could be molded in the new behavior, new learned behavior, new adaptation, flexibility of learning through neuroplasticity of the mind, and that can change your gene expression, what you're born with. So it is said that the environment holds the gun. Okay, sorry, the genes hold the gun, the environment pulls the trigger. The genes hold the gun, the environment pulls the trigger. Don't allow your inner or external environment to pull the trigger on your 5% dirty genes that you're born with. So when I work with children, especially when I do one-on-one families, so parents come to me saying that, you know, in our family we have cancer, we have asthma, we have hypertension, we don't want our child to. So we work on the system for 5 years, 10-year plan, so that the genes completely learn a new behavior and the old gene expressions are forgotten from the system grassroots level. Also, when I work with senior citizens, with cancer patients, hypertension patients, I work with MS patients or paralysis patients. I typically work in a way first understanding the genetic pool. I go through the antecedents, and then I start weeding out the behavior and start training the new pattern of memory, intention, formation, energy, muscular coordination, psychoneuro coordination, affirmation, visualization. So we eradicate the old behavior, and this takes a year, 2, 3. And we bring in the new behavior, and trust me, bedridden senior citizens, octogenarians, I've got them to stand, got them to walk, and got them to slow run. Those who couldn't control their bowel and their bladder movement. So this is a miraculous science, a modern miraculous science supported by Indian wisdom tradition with yours truly, Mickey Mehta.
So, Dr. Mickey, what's your message for people who are feeling depressed in this, Corona lockdown, and suddenly they have a, there's a surge of people rushing for the, for alcohol shops and,
So
doing all those things.
I'll tell you. So, we all have families at home, okay? And the spectrum is pretty good, like most of us are in a functional age. So, connect with first your parents, grandparents, in-laws very well. Take love, give blessings, take blessings. Then with your children, it's the best time to emotionally grow so that you can heal yourself, because that is, resonates with your physiology and biology. Every emotional wellness resonates with your physiology and biology, and also your neurology. So bring that wellness, well-being aspect out. Then if you are active, or if you're not active, become active sexually with your couple, with your wife, with your husband. Rekindle the romance. Okay? And give each other massages, head massages, acupressures, work out together, eat together, laugh together. जाके बच्चों को गुदगुदी कीजिए, parents को गुदगुदी कीजिए. So there are so many creative things you can sing together, play Antakshari. Antakshari is the best pranayam because your body intelligently regulates the breath inflow and outflow. Outflow is the displacement of words. चलो खेलना है अभी अंताक्षरी, 2-3 गाने हो जाए.
There are so many methods of pranayam. You talked about pranayam. There are so many methods.
Okay, laughter. Laughter is the finest, induced laughter is the finest way of pranayam, because your diaphragm, when it moves 12 centimeters, when your lungs get emptied, when your respiratory tract completely clears up, when your adenoids clear the infection and drains off the infection. Also, when you breathe vigorously in pranayam, let's say Bhastrika and Kapalbhati, your sinuses get dilated, heat gets generated. Any heat beyond 96 degrees has a capacity to kill germs and infections. Okay, now coming to laughter. Now, any oncologists over here? So what happens? The T cells, B cells, interleukin 2, interferons, these are the drugs available from $2,000 to $5,000 a vial. But when you laugh a lot, and when you have lots of good quality sex with great romance and great foreplay, they are released in your body, including opiates are released in your body for free. Free. Ek pe ek free.
Brilliant. A lot of insight that you have had.
So what is your message for all those people who think after your talk that it is very difficult to practice what you have told us, very difficult to get to disallow your 5% to take over your 95%? So how do you think should one start?
Small steps. First of all, a great adage comes to my mind. Extraordinary are those who know that there is something within them which is superior to circumstance. But we Indians knew it always. Jivatma. That one part of that Paramatma is within us. And this only knows how to evolve and become a lotus in the muck. So Kamal ki bhati in kichad. And we humans should take small baby steps. And the baby steps would be regulated breath, sunshine in the morning, eating the right stuff, doing exercise every day, laughing a lot, sleeping a lot, making love a lot, romancing a lot, and most important factor for good health is charity and philanthropy. The more you give, the more you see the smile on the opposite person's face, and that smile resonates with you, and your limbic brain, reptilian brain picks it up, and your happiness quotient grows. Your happy hormones begin to secrete. You will get a better night's sleep and you will have a better immunity. So give a lot, share a lot, and flow a lot. राधा बन के जो बाहर निकलेगी वो धारा बन के अंदर आ जाएगी.
One final question on Surya Namaskar, sunshine. Would you say something? What's your take on that?
So Surya Namaskar is a sun salutation, which is the lowest denomination meaning. Namaste, namaste, nama, vinamrata, annihilation of ego. Salutation doesn't mean annihilation of ego. ये कम्बक अंग्रेजी भाषा जिसने भी बनाई है बहुत 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 shallow है. So, namaste, annihilation of ego, vinamrata, और surrender mode. Surrender mode and getting into केवल्य की अवस्था. अकेलापन, एकांत और केवल्य. So सूर्य नमस्कार करते हुए केवल्य की अवस्था में आ जाना और सन, सूर्यदेव, आदित्य को प्रणाम, कोटि कोटि प्रणाम, और उसकी किरणें लेना और उसकी ऊर्जा में समेट जाना. हाँ, उसको भापना, उससे एकजुट हो जाना, इंटीग्रेट हो जाना, उसका तेज, उसकी ऊर्जा, उसकी प्राण, उसके प्राण. तो there are 12 steps of Surya Namaskar. So, Om Mitraय Namah, Om Rave Namah, Om Surya Namah, Om Bhanvi Namah. One leg behind, Om Khagaya Namah. Second leg behind, Om Pushne Namah. Going down to the floor, Om Hirangarbhaya Namah. Coming up, Om Mariche Namah. Going back, Om Adityaya Namaha. One step forward, Om Savitre Namaha. Second step forward, Om Arkaya Namaha. Om Bhaskaraya Namaha. So when these 12 mantras are integrated with every Surya Namaskar, आपकी हर एक इंद्रिय और वृत्तियां सब खुल जाएंगी और आप स्वास्थ्य के प्रतीक बन जाओगे. स्वास्थ्य के प्रतीक बन जाओगे.
There's one question, and you are also, chanting mantras, and in almost all the religion, this thing is there. Even Buddhists have their mantras to chant. Why do you want? What is the theory behind it? How does chanting of mantras and reciting help oneself?
What is your name? What is your name?
My name is Namrata.
Namrata. अरे कितना अच्छा नाम है, कितना प्यारा नाम है. So Namrata.
You are just not talking about Vinamrata.
Okay, so Namrata. Let me see you, Namrata.
I have to be reminded about Namrata every time.
So Namrata, you truly and honestly look so beautiful.
Thank you for that.
Now, okay, Namrata, you are so adorable and respectable. And I'm sure, Namrata, you are so accomplished. And I'm sure, Namrata, your family finds you so lovable. Now, I said 5 things to you. If you received them and heard them, there was a biological response of happiness. So these were my mantras in simple language. But mantras are of higher intelligence coded in a language to bring about a change in the electromagnetic field. So, electromagnetic field, cosmos, unity is what we call God. But an IT professional will reduce it to the point of a-causal, non-local electromagnetic field of energy information with self-referral cybernetic feedback loops. But our God, what we call God, is super conscious, और मंत्र करने से consciousness बढ़ते जाता है, ज्ञान बढ़ते जाता है, वृत्तियां खुलती जाती है, ब्रह्मांड खुल जाता है. Okay, so from the point in time, we were a speck of light on the rims of the volcano, And some scientists in a theoretical form call it a chemolitho-autotrophic hyperthermophile. So from that point of life, we've become human beings. So it's just human beings probably are, billion years old. And our roots are in the animals, but our flowering is in the consciousness of Shiva or Allah or Ishwar or God. है कि नहीं? So we all can attain to this consciousness. We are on the ladder of evolution. Okay, we can attain this consciousness if we want and be very vibrant in immunity, very radiant in intelligence, and be invincible, infinite immunity.
Great, Mickey. I think Dr. Himanshu, you want to? I think we'll have to call it.
We could go on and on, Mickey, and it was wonderful.
As all good things come to an end, so was this fantastic talk. Himanshu, you want to say something, and then
I'll speak a last few lines later. You let me know when.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You talk first, Mickey.
Okay, so there is a very good mantra that I always like to recite. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirghamaya, mrityumma amrutum ghamaya. And also Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. This whole Brahman is the Gurudev. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So we bow to all the Gurus of the world to teach us so much. Our Indian wisdom traditions is far beyond and transcends every science of the world. We saw and learned everything before the imperial medicine came in. And very unfortunately that in 1800, the imperial medicine destroyed and discredited Ayurveda, yoga and homeopathy. Which is why they wanted to divide Indians. They wanted to make Indians helpless and subservient. So they very systematically killed us. But thanks to our leader Narendra Modi, Arogya Setu, he's the only leader in the world who is not talking about washing hands, which is so frivolous. He's the only leader who is saying kada piyo, dudh haldi piyo, pranayam karo, dhyan karo, asan karo, aur khul ke jiyo.
Yes, Mickey.
So, I'll leave you with this last note.
Yes.
So I have made this all-encompassing mantra for the universal love, peace, harmony. Om Kal Shanti. Om Vastu Disha Shanti. Om Vayu Shanti. Om Agni Shanti. Om Prithvi Shanti. Om Jal Shanti. Om Akasha Shanti. Om Sarvagraha Nakshatra Rashi Shanti. Om Vishwa Brahman Shanti. Om Sarvagraha Nakshatra Rashi Vishwa Brahman Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Let's all of us get energized, maximized, optimized, naturalized, internalized, eternalized, evolutionized, revolutionized, mesmerized, regularized, revitalized, specialized to get Mickey-mized.
Mickey-mized.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Mickey. Thank you, Himanshu, for arranging this, and really great. I think a great difference from the usual webinars that we are having. Thanks for being with us. Dr. Ramta, you want to sum up?
I would like to thank, words just fall short to thank you. There are no words to thank you. The webinar that we had today was, I think, one of the best that we have ever had. Of course, we had anticipated this, and I would like to thank Dr. Himanshu Mehta for coordinating this, for arranging this. I would also like to thank Dr. Rajesh Sinha and Professor Mahipal Sachdev, our audiovisual team who's been coordinating it, and our sponsors, Entod, and all those people who are watching it on the Facebook, YouTube, and on the web browser. And I'm sure we are going to have you again, Dr. Mickey Mehta.
Of course.
Once again, I'm sure it's going to be a once more. I already see the messages that they want to have you again. and we'll surely coordinate and have another one with you. Thank you so much.
Himanshu, I think
Yes.
we should thank our Manmohan Desai, which is Deepak Ram.
Yeah.
Deepak Ram, the DR who got us together.
Forum.
Yeah.
So he's our Manmohan Desai.
Yes. But
That's what I
tremendous
wanted to
energy.
say.
Vicky, you showed a lot of energy, phenomenal energy. You are standing, and the amount of energy that we can feel it right here. Thanks so much for being with us. Thank
I
you.
hope you're happy with the content also, brother.
Tremendously.
Perfect.
Huge response.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Thanks to Dr. Mickey Mehta and thanks to Dr. Himanshu Mehta.
Dr. Himanshu Mehta for doing this. Really.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.